Hey, what's up, friends? Pat here. Thanks so much for joining me today in a rapid fire Q&A. I'm going to answer as many questions as I can for you. I have a workshop later today, so I didn't have time to come up with a plan for a deep dive on a particular topic like we did yesterday. If you didn't catch yesterday's, I'd highly recommend you check it out. We talked about my weaknesses, in fact. I'm not talking about my bench pressing. I'm talking about certain weaknesses in my business and my personality and how I utilize other tools, other people, other help, and how to sort of manage through weaknesses. We're all weak in some different way, shape, or form. And it's understanding those weaknesses and understanding our strengths that allow us to know what to do next, know how to take direction forward. So we're going to talk today about whatever it is that you want to talk about. But again, if you missed yesterday's, definitely check out episode 323. Today's episode 324. It's pretty crazy. Can't believe we're there already. Howdy, what's up, B-Roy, the Mature Man, Stephanie, Peasant Uprising, GTO, John Michael Dornoff, Chris. We got CV in the house, the Mature Man. Welcome in, Grandma Goody. I popped a video out on this channel about an hour ago, and so far it's doing really well. It's helped a lot of people already. If you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend checking it out after this. And it's about landing big guests on your show. You might remember an episode of the Income Stream where we actually planned that. We talked about the tiptoe strategy. And if you watch this video, you'll pay attention to and see, hopefully, the tiptoe strategy in action. The tiptoe strategy, if you might remember, is when you start a YouTube video, you really need to hook people in the beginning using different methods, different things, such as, number one, connecting the title to what it is that the video is about. The I in tiptoe is in this video, literally telling people what's inside. The P is proof, showing proof that you've done this. You'll notice how I did that earlier. And I showed you, I think, the frame.io sort of preview, and you'll see the final product there. So anyway, you'll see this video on the channel. It's there already. It's got a few hundred views, which is pretty dope, and expecting it to have really good long-term success because it's answering a question that a lot of people have, and it's one that was proven to be a worthwhile topic here on the Income Stream. Turning it down into a 10-ish minute video, 13-minute video, it should perform even better. So really excited about that. Anyway, I'll stop talking. Let's get to the intro. Then I'm going to get to your questions, and let's hang out. Thanks again for joining me. Here we go.
This is the Income Stream to help you achieve your dream, all while we keep it clean. This is the Income Stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The Income Stream with Pat Flynn.
Cool. Let's see. We got Cool Greg Cats in the house. Sage's Computer Repair. We got Fit Over 50. Dawn, I got your package. Thank you for that. I will share that on day 365, by the way. Victoria, we got Mark in the house. What's up, everybody? Antonica, we got King Skull Derek. Great. All right, so Victoria, anybody, if you have a question, let me know. I'm going to pop this up on the screen right now. Actually, that's huge. But while I'm here, I'm just going to flex a little bit. We have now 6,200 subscribers on the Pokemon channel. It is on fire right now. Came out with another video yesterday. Chris, if you're here in the house, I saw your comment on it. Thank you so much for that. But anyway, let's go back to the counter and let's make this a little smaller because this is huge. So this is the counter for how many questions we're going to answer. We're going to see how well we can do. So here we go. We got Chris with question number 1. What skills are you focusing on improving right now? It is absolutely the beginnings of videos, especially because I'm filming so many videos. We're already in a batch processing season for this channel. We just saw the first video come out today in a season of hopefully 2 videos per week, leading up to what I'm hoping is 500,000 subscribers on the channel by December 31st. And so really honing in on really what's good at thumbnails and titles and hooks. Always we can continue to get better at that. And that's something that I'm actively learning how to do, actively researching, actively getting help with right now. That's something that's really, really important to me. Thank you, Chris. What is up, Kyle? I'm not going to count that as a question, but things are good. Everything's great. I hope you're well too. Thank you. All right, let's see. Oh, if you have a question, type in the word question in the comment section in all caps, followed by your question, and we will go from there. I wonder if there's any questions up here that I missed. Yes, the Mature Man. Any suggestions for a casual photographer on a Mac? Should I upgrade to Lightroom or Photoshop? And if so, which one? Lightroom and Photoshop, I mean, if you're going to do stuff for photography, I think Lightroom could be the best solution because you can get these Lightroom filters and you could download them from other people to get like the style and stuff. I know Peter McKinnon used to sell a whole bunch, as well as a number of other photographers. Photoshop is a massively advanced tool that I use, but I only use literally like a % of what it is that it's actually capable of for my needs. So I think it really depends on what your needs are, but I think Lightroom would work really well. I know a lot of people, including a lot of my own videographers and photographers who use Lightroom for their projects and such. And if there's any other photographers in the house and you have suggestions for the mature man, please share a mature answer. Thank you. All right, let's see. Whoa, that was there was some vibrato on that. Let's see. What's up, Tina? Good to see you. Hey. Hey, Kathy. Great to see you here as well. Let's see. Package? Oh, maybe I'm... Oh, sorry, Don. I'm thinking of somebody else. Gift Biz Unwrapped is who I got the package from. Sorry. No worries, Don. Sorry, that must have been really confusing. Cooking with Kibby says, how do I get into Clubhouse? First of all, you need an iOS device, and you need an invite, and somebody to send that invite to you. I've expended all of my invites at this point, but finding somebody asking around, there's likely invites going out, and I imagine that Clubhouse is going to open this up to more people later. Interestingly enough, I was in a room 2 days ago with Elon Musk. I wasn't like connected to him in the chat. I just happened to be in the same room, but it was really funny because a lot of people who saw me in that room when they were checking out Elon saw that our names were actually right next to each other because they didn't know anybody else in the room but myself. And so I was the first person that they saw underneath the speakers. I was not a speaker, but it was really cool to be connected, and Clubhouse is a great tool that we've talked about a few times here on the channel. So try to get an invite if you can, and we'll go from there. Okay. Do you ever see someone who's striving for constant improvement, not getting a ton of traction, remaining focused, and then one day asking for a friend? Yes. I mean, sometimes it's just that breakthrough video. It's that breakthrough moment. It's that breakthrough recommendation. It's that breakthrough mention on somebody else's channel. It's something that isn't guaranteed to happen right away, but it will happen. And a lot of times for some, it takes a long time, and for others, it can happen almost immediately. So I know what you mean, over 50. Sometimes it can take some time to see those results, but in due time. Just keep going and always trying to make those incremental micro improvements like we've talked about, especially with your channel in the past. That's how you get there faster, for sure. Thank you for that. John says you can get both Lightroom and Photoshop as a package for $10 a month, which is the same price as one of them. Thank you, John, for that value. John says, or excuse me, Samson says, how do you manage your team remotely? Thanks. Well, this goes along with what I likely talked about yesterday that might be familiar to you, and that is hiring a operations manager or OBM, online business manager, or having an integrator to help do a lot of that for me. However, in the beginning, it was a lot of myself managing the team. And what really helped was certain software that allowed us to communicate. So Slack is really great for sort of real-time communication and archiving of things. But in terms of project management, there's a few tools that we use. You don't have to use all of them. You want to find the tools that work for you and your workflow and what it is that you're doing. But managing the team required, we used Trello for a while, and Trello was really nice because we could see the different projects, the different phases of the projects, move tasks from one phase to another, to another, to another until the end. And then with each of those tasks, you can see the players involved, who's responsible, where they're at, have comments in there, etc. And then again, that's based on project to project. And then specifically for the blog and content creation, we have a tool that we use called CoSchedule that is very similar, but allows you to connect to your WordPress website, to have blog posts and drafts created, and then have, again, team responsibilities within there, and have communication specific just to blog posts alone within that spot. So a lot of tools for sure, communication. And one thing that I love to do is give responsibility to my team. You want to give them some ownership. And what that does is it allows you to let go, knowing somebody else is responsible for it. And of course, you have to train them. You have to help them understand what it is that the commander intent is. However, when you do that, they feel ownership, they feel tied to it more, and they're more likely to even go beyond the requirements and see what they can do to better improve the situation. And if they know why we're doing this, they can even find new solutions in and around that. Question, what is your take on shorts? You know, I'm more of a jeans guy. Jean shorts are a no-no, but I think shorts in general are great because I live in San Diego, and I had shorts, flip-flops with a shirt or a tank top walking around the beach. Man, that's a good day right there. Now, if you're talking about shorts as in shorts for stocks, I don't like when I play craps, I don't play the craps line, right? I always play the bet line. I don't like to hope people lose. I like to support things that I think are going to win, if those are the kinds of shorts you mean. Talking about stocks and stuff. Question from Tina: how have you been dealing with the pandemic? Has it negatively or positively affected your income? Hope it's okay to ask. Oh yeah, totally, Tina. I am an open book for sure. So in ways it has definitely negatively impacted my income, but in other ways it's definitely increased it as well. So how is it negatively impacted? It's negatively impacted through, for example, having FlynnCon, which was my event in San Diego, that having been canceled in 2020, and then we're going to send an email very shortly here about 2021 because we have some final decisions that have been made about this year, and it's not looking good. I'm just going to say so. Unable to do those events, and of course we sold tickets to that last year, and that's been carried over to this year, which is going to maybe carry over to next year, and that's just not a good situation. Number two, people have been less likely to spend more money on training programs and stuff for stuff that is not, we're not sure where things are going. So we have seen lower sales on some of our marketing efforts, but in many ways we've seen increased sales on things like our membership program, SPI Pro. We just added an additional $450,000 annual run rate, ARR, through a membership program that we have that's both not only increasing our income, but that's not the important thing. The important thing is that we've created a community that's brought people together who are serious entrepreneurs who want to come together and learn from each other and as well as from the team. And that has provided us this amazing byproduct of recurring income that we've never had in the business before. And the pandemic actually pulled that forward for us because we noticed that people were craving community. And it's almost like this ongoing perpetual like hallway that people can talk amongst each other with, which is the best part of a conference, in the hallways when you're connecting with other people and networking. We now have that in SPI Pro, and that's been really amazing to do. I've also seen an increase in sales of a lot of my books as well. A lot of people are taking this time to learn and consume, and we've had to place another order for Superfans because we are running out. And so again, that's a great sign. And then of course on YouTube has exploded, and views on both channels. Well, of course, my Deep Pocket Monster channel, as you can see, is doing well. That channel has already made a couple $100, which is not the goal there. It's just a nice byproduct. But putting ads on there to see what would happen, and already after a month making a couple $100 there is pretty dope. And here on the channel, the income has increased as well. So yeah, in many ways it's helped increase, but in other ways it has not. I think that the best thing that has happened is it's slowed me down for family purposes, right? I was speaking a lot, I was doing a lot of things, and now I'm at home, and coming out of this, I'm probably not going to travel as much. Maybe 1 or 2 conferences outside of San Diego per year versus the 8 to 10 that I was doing. Question from Mark: do you use Notion or Roam in your workflow? I've just started using Notion, in fact, especially for YouTube, planning the YouTube videos alongside in collaboration with. It's very similar to CoSchedule, but it is for anything that you want, where you want collaboration, note-taking, sort of project management. Notion is a great tool. Just started using it, Mark, and I love it. I haven't used Roam, but what is the best way to implement new systems like those? It would be to reverse engineer from the end. And that's always the best place to engineer something, right? What's the end goal? Okay, let's figure out how to get there. This is how you might build a Rube Goldberg machine, right? Very similarly, sort of like starting with, okay, so the ball's going to hit this. Okay, how do we do that? Let's get it. Let's get a ramp behind it. Okay, well, how are we going to get something on the ramp? Well, let's stack a whole bunch of books up there and have it fall from. Where are we going to have it fall from? We're going to have it fall from the shelf. So you're sort of like reverse engineering and then building the systems, right, to then knock over that domino. Question from Joseph: what are your thoughts on using Wix for creating a website? I have some WordPress training, but my business is booming, so don't have time to do it that way. Well, I guess the options are don't build a website at all or get it done in a quick and easy way using Wix. So I think the obvious answer is to use Wix. And then maybe over time, you can transition to something that does allow for a little bit more customization and a little bit more universal usage across many different tools and platforms and plugins like a WordPress website. But I would get your Wix website up fast. It's a lot of W words. Wix, website, Wharf, what? Okay. So anyway, I don't know if that counts. I kind of just threw it in there, but it's a W, right? So yeah, I would just get the website up. Use Wix. It's proven to help others. You can build your business. If it's booming, you don't want to lose out on that opportunity that's in front of you right now. Boom. Typing at a stoplight. Samson, be safe, my friend, please. Question from Cool Gray Cats. What should I say to family members who are not on board with my YouTube efforts? This is a great question because we don't often get a lot of support from family or friends with our efforts. And a lot of times we can consider this world we live in to be like a bucket of crabs. So hear me out on this analogy. It's a bucket of crabs, right? If you take a bucket of live crabs, you never have to worry about any of them crawling out, because as soon as one wants to crawl out, the other ones will come from the bottom and pinch that one and bring it back down. We live in this world where when we see somebody doing or flourishing and we ourselves aren't feeling like we are adequate enough, or oftentimes people want to pull you down because they don't themselves believe they could do it either. Or they just don't want to see you succeed, not maybe consciously, but subconsciously. It almost puts them in a place where, oh, well, you're doing this, I'm not doing that. And what do you say to them? First of all, I wouldn't even bring it up in dinner conversations kind of thing. If it always is something that seems to bring a negative vibe to the situation, I would try to just avoid that negative vibe. Now, obviously, family, you can't always sort of control everything that's happening. So I think it would be more important for you to balance that out with people, communities, mentors who can support you, who do support you, who will lift you up, because as many people as wanting to bring you down, you want to have just as many, if not more, who are bringing you back up. But what do you say to them? Just to say, I think honesty and authenticity goes a very long way. If it is something that makes you happy and is exciting for you, then you sharing that with others and having them hopefully realize that is going to be very important. Like if they don't care about things that light you up and make you happy, then do they actually care about you at all? It might be interesting just to have an honest conversation about that. But we'd love to hear the chat's thoughts about dealing with and having conversations with family members who perhaps aren't as supportive in your efforts. Also, definitely try to use that as motivation. Maybe you can flip the script from, I don't know if I can do this, maybe they're right, to, no, I'm going to prove them wrong. Let me show you. And then have some data, have some thoughts about that. So maybe even give yourself a deadline to understand what you could show them and by when, perhaps. Or just eat all the other crabs in the bucket, then crawl out, says Samson. Could do that too, but I don't know if we want to promote cannibalism here. Am I the only one with sound problems? Fine on my end. Yeah, you just might need to refresh, if that's cool. Elon was super lucky to be in there with Pat. Thank you, Reflexia. I appreciate you for that. Hi, what's up, Queen Bee? Good to see you here. Flynn family, what's up, Tim? Great to see you here as well. Question from Fernando. What is the most important skill for an entrepreneur nowadays? There's a lot of skills required. I think that you don't need all of them. But the biggest thing to lean into, in my opinion, would be empathy. Because, and I don't know if you consider that a skill, but it's definitely something we should all have. The skill of learning the emotions and feelings of others would be the skill, I guess. And that's otherwise known as empathy, right? And that is important because the more we can understand who it is that we're serving, the more likely it is that we are to succeed in our efforts to serve them, right? And I think that's really important. And when we do that, you are able to then have a clear direction. You're able to have motivation. You're able to then consider exactly who it is that you're reaching out to and how you might be able to do that. And at Reef, dude, super effective. I like that sticker, and I like you, and I'm very, very grateful for your support since having you come back in the channel the last few days. Again, please, not necessary. Nobody needs to pay anything to be here, but membership support and super chat support is always welcome. Thank you so much. But again, it's not required. But I appreciate you for that, at Reef. Thank you. Definitely go and follow at Reef if you haven't already. I think there's a lot of skills, obviously, like problem solving. I think that's a big skill because you're going to come across a lot of hurdles and problems as you build your business, whether you already are out there and people are seeing it or not. Problems with how to build a website, problems with understanding what your copywriting is going to be, all that stuff. Learning how to solve those problems is really key. I think another skill that's required is patience, but also hustle at the same time. And I don't mean hustle like stay up until 4 a.m. to do things, but hustle meaning do the things that you need to do and just get right into it, right? Just show up. And I think it was Stephen Pressfield who said, inspiration shows up every day at 9 a.m. when I sit down and do the work, right? And so go and sit down, do the work, have that patience to see success, but micro hustle to do the things you need to do. Micro hustle, macro patience, right? Cargo shorts will never die. Gosh, I had shorts that were pants that had the zipper in the middle where the knees are. I thought I was the coolest kid. And they were cargo pants that could convert into shorts. And I remember during school one day, I would unzip them because it got hot in San Diego, but it was cold in the morning with the morning dew and whatnot. So I would take the little bottom sections of my pants off. I'd roll them up tightly, fold them, and I would put them in my cargo pockets. And I thought I was a genius. And then I look back and I'm like, wow, what was I doing? Why did I wear those? Cool. Let's see. Dewan says, how can I become a millionaire in 2 years? Here's the question. Why do you need to become a millionaire in 2 years? What is this draw to $1 million? And the reason why I'm starting here, and maybe this is what you want, Dewan, but really, really important, if we really understand what our number is, the fact that it's a nice round number like $1 million typically tells me that that's just a made up milestone that you want. Now, I don't think it's bad that you want that, but when I have conversations and we really tie in the numbers for many people who I coach, we then discover that, oh, I only need, for the kind of lifestyle I want to live and who I want to be and what I want to do, I only need $120,000 a year. That's a completely different business model than a business that's going to be making $1 million a year. And it's so much easier. And it really puts into perspective what's possible. But imagine you getting, $800,000 in 2 years. You might still feel like it's not good enough. And if you don't know what the end game is, what the goal is, then you're going to feel like kind of you're just working hard for no reason. And there's this sort of made up number, this arbitrary goal of 1 million. So I would recommend that instead, figure out what your number is and then reverse engineer what you might do for that. Because let's say your number is $100,000, right? Well, then you only need to have 1,000 people pay you $100, right? Or 100 people pay you $1,000. Could you coach, 25 people per quarter for $1,000 to help them do something that makes them more money, right? So I think that that's going to help you understand what is actually not just possible for you, but also attainable for the life and the sort of style of life that you want to live. So hopefully you don't mind me flipping the script on you like that. Question: how often do you shoot with Caleb versus on your own? I shoot with Caleb for online courses and for workshops, and then the rest of the time it's on my own because I have the equipment here, everything's set up, and it's very simple for me to do. But he brings a super high quality, super high end production when I need it for online courses and workshops. And he will also then make it easier to take all that high end 4K sort of shooting and turn it into online course material. So I would say 90% of the time I am shooting myself. That sounds weird. But I would say 90% of the time he is editing. He and his team are doing all the editing. What are your major takeaways from your daily streams in hindsight, day 10 versus current day? Yeah, I mean, I've come to learn that the stream doesn't grow the channel as much as previously recorded videos do. However, it has been amazing for growth in connection. I've gotten to know several of you. Several of you I've had hour-long conversations with as a result, and I've gotten some amazing vibes and just incredible. It just makes me feel more connected to the community at whole, even though this is just a smaller percentage of a much larger whole. To have direct access to you means the world to me. And that's important. I'm so glad I've done this experiment. We're not finished yet. We're going to go for 365. And remember, on day 365, we're going to stream for 365 minutes, which will be super fun. We'll have a lot of prizes, games, etc. And make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already so that you don't miss that. So other takeaways is that there are some topics that hit and some that don't. The other takeaway is that the more you do something, the better you get at it. There's just no way I could have not improved if I just kept going. And I think that's a big lesson, hopefully, for everybody, that if you want to get good at something, just like take that 20-mile hike every single day, right? Like we talked about yesterday. Great by Choice by Jim Harper Collins. I can't remember the name. Jim Collins, I think, who wrote a book called Great by Choice. And there's a story I told at the end of yesterday about the 20-mile march, right? And this is my 20-mile march. Every day, showing up no matter what. No matter if it's cold or warm, I'm walking 20 miles. Even if I could go further, some days here, I could stream for 4 or 5 hours at a time. But I don't. It's 1 hour every time. We're making progress. We're moving forward. and we're going that way. And I think that's a big lesson because you can't help but improve and get better and learn and discover. You can't help but do that the more you do something, right? For sure. What happened to my counter? There we go. Hello, Pat. Is there such a thing as COVID relief funds for creating a new business? For creating a new business, I mean, there are small business loans and things that you could potentially take advantage of right now. And again, I'm just not a CPA. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a professional. This is just what I understand in my opinion. Please do your own research and due diligence, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Sorry. Thanks for letting me do the, whoa, that was not the slap. This is me. Okay. That was my bad. Yo, Rap and Comment in the house. Dude, let's all welcome Rap and Comment in the house. An amazing, amazing person who really helped influence the direction of this income stream way back in the day. He had a kid around December, I think. And no, way longer ago. And he started the Slack channel, and he's been an incredible member here within the income stream. And it's good to see you back, my friend. It's good to see you back. Thank you. Smacking the cheering kids. Shame, right? Yeah, right? You can't have fun here. I'm just kidding, by the way. I love kids having fun, obviously. And if you have a business, you could potentially take advantage of small business loans from your certain banks. I got a loan from Chase when I first started during the pandemic for my Flindustries brand. And then there's an interesting story here. So check this out. So COVID relief for businesses happened, and the Payment Protection Act or Payment Protection Plan, Payroll Protection Plan, PPP, came out. I submitted for that, and I was able to, get a loan that could have been forgiven. Then I heard that they were going to be very strict with if you absolutely needed this, then you can keep it. If not, you might have penalties. And I was like, oh man, this would be really helpful because we're not running events this year and some of the other things I mentioned earlier about how we got hit from the pandemic. But I don't absolutely need it right now. So I just paid it all back literally the next day. Then the next day, do you remember this? Because there was like new information coming out every day that was just so annoying because nobody knew exactly what was going on. The next day, I got a message that, oh, okay, well, only if you borrow over $150,000 are we going to look really, really strictly at everything. Below that, we're just going to trust you and you'll be fine. So I could have had an additional tens of thousands of dollars in the bank if I had just waited and not had paid that loan back right away. And I had 30 days to pay it, or I had months to pay it, but I just wanted to wipe the slate clean. And I totally missed out on it, which is okay because again, it happens. And my CPA was like, oh my gosh, you don't tell me you gave it back already. And I was like, I did. And he's like, oh, why are you so good and honest? And I was like, I don't know. Anyway, there is another round of that coming. And I hope to hopefully take advantage of that because, although the business is going well on one hand, there's other parts of it that are definitely affected. And that's something that we're going to look into. Boop. All right, Peasant Uprising. How do you get through fear of building your own business versus working 9 to 5? Just need to hear your thoughts again, Pat. I think that there's more fear in what would happen if I was working 9 to 5. And my fear is being 70 years old and wondering whether or not the thing that I thought about doing was going to work or not. That would just crush me, right? Versus, trying it, giving it a shot, knowing that I could always go back to a 9 to 5 if I have to. I've earned that degree. There are people who could use and utilize my skills, and that will be fine. So, darn you for being good and honest. Yeah, I'm still blocked on other people. Andrew, oh no, are you serious? Let me go back. I need to take care of a friend really quick. Somebody's blocked who shouldn't be blocked, and I want to unblock them because they don't deserve to be blocked. I don't know why they were blocked. It's just kind of by accident, I think. So give me a second, and as I'm doing this, I'm going to see if I can do this on the fly. Not a question, but just completed the last task from Everything Suggestion on my channel review, and lo and behold, got my very first Amazon Associate Affiliate Commission. Yo, congratulations for that. See, this stuff works. Sometimes it works right away, sometimes it doesn't, but we do our best, right? So let's see if I can go I'm trying to remember how we got Lex out of the gulag. How did we do this? Okay, settings, community. Okay, hidden users. Why? Okay, let's see if I can find Andrew here. There's at least a few hundred hidden users, mostly like Bitcoin, crypto people who are just rude and mean. I don't know where you're at though. Let's see. So what I'm doing right now is I'm looking for, if you want to see, I might be able to show you. This is my studio and I'm trying to look for you. I don't know where you're at. Let me know if you see yourself. But I'm looking for Consult the Blind Guy. And so far, I haven't seen you. These are all the people who have been mean to me. I don't see you there. Blocked words. Can you see those blocked words? Okay, I haven't. There's another channel that I have that all the block words are like swear words and stuff. So I don't want y'all to see that. I don't want y'all to see that. Anyway, Andrew, I'll have to look again. I apologize about that. I just passed him. Are you serious? Did I? I'm looking for the avatar. Sorry. One sec. Or are you trolling me? There we go. You weren't trolling me. We did it. Props to GTO. Thank you. Okay. We did it. Yay. Okay. Thank you, chat. Sorry about that. We did it. We did it. All right, let's go back to questions. We're 13 in, a little bit behind, but that's okay. Question, what is the strangest marketing experiment you ever did? The strangest marketing experiment. I think the strangest, it's not really strange, but I had bought a previously existing website for a couple $1,000s to see what I could do to sort of flip it. And I added WordPress to it because it wasn't on WordPress right away. This was the website was Beginner's Golf Tips or Beginner Golf Tips or something like that. And just because I played golf, I was like, oh, I have an interest in golf, so maybe I can do this. And once I got it, I changed it up. I started to put more AdSense on it. I saw a little bit of an increase in income, but then I just completely lost energy for it because the whole purpose of doing that was for the money. And anytime I've done something with the sole purpose of making more money, it's always failed. And so I just felt the energy change right away as soon as I just set it up. And it was on autopilot for a while, and it was making, $5 to $10 a day for a little bit. And again, it just kind of, in order to keep up with SEO and all the other changes, it just didn't work out. So it's not necessarily strange, if you will, but it definitely was something that didn't work out like I thought it was. This new lens is fuego. Thank you. Question, Pat. The episode with Maria from Bloom and Groom inspired me to create my own trailer or pitch. What key components should I be sure to include? Yes, so a trailer or a pitch, 60 seconds. You might remember the latest episode with Maria from Bloom and Grow, which she's a member of SPI Pro, and we challenged SPI Pro members to create a 60-second pitch. You want to make sure you capture people's attention right away. She did a really great job of asking yourself or asking everybody a question. Have you ever killed a houseplant yourself? Raise your hand if you've done that. And everybody who can relate to that, I mean, in her target audience would say yes. And if not, then they can leave, right? So I think it's important to share something, whether it's a question or a story or a stat or something just to kind of like hook people in the beginning. And then talking about more about the problem and the pain and the language that they use. And then flipping the script and introducing yourself and the solution and what it is that you've created. And then talking about it, sharing proof perhaps, also including maybe a little story in there. But most of all, just helping people understand that you know where they're at, and then you can help them to go to where they want to go. The more that they can realize you understand them in that way, the more they're going to feel like you have the solution for them, if that makes sense. Hey, Pat, what's a word on What's the word on Hot Coals Only? Missing County Squad and Kai. Yeah, they've just wanted to do more other things. We've been building a lot of Lego together and doing a lot of arts and crafts, and whatever it is that they want to do, I want to help them and support them with that. So I don't want to push them back into that. We will get back on the live stream at Hot Coals Only, no worries. But it'll definitely, probably be during a break of some kind, like winter break or summer or something. We'll get back into it for sure. But the kids have been experimenting and trying other things, and I don't want to push them, or the only thing that we've been really pushing them on is piano, and they're getting much, much better, which is really cool. But yeah, it's just kind of on pause right now. Thank you for asking. But yeah, it is something that's going to come back, I'm sure. Ooh, excuse me. Which one has better professionals for small contract works, Upwork or Fiverr? In my opinion, you get a better quality on Upwork because there's a lot more, I would say, more of a hurdle for a person to put themselves onto Upwork. It's really easy to set up sort of a profile on Fiverr and just start sharing things right away. I think there's a little bit more testing and other things that are required on Upwork. That's not to say you can't find great people on Fiverr, and that's not to say that there aren't, potatoes on Upwork. So it's really important to understand that both work really, really well, but we have to do our research, do our due diligence. And before we hire somebody for anything, we really want to make sure that they have a portfolio, an experience, and a style that we can really resonate with and that we're looking for. Cool. Let's see. Scrolling down. So we're far behind. I'm going to scroll all the way forward. And if I missed your question, I apologize. Yay, there's Andrew. Sorry about that, my friend. I don't know what happened. It perhaps was a misclick from a moderator or something, which sometimes happens. And that's how we put Lex in jail for a while on accident. So I apologize about that. Cool. Lego building on Twitch would be awesome. Just saying. That's kind of cool. Bernard said, hi, I'm late because of work and getting petrol because of petrol prices rising tonight. Glad you got it in before. Isaiah says, Pat, this isn't a question, but I have started a new script for an Among Us-based play for the school. Not yet finished, but it will be done. That's so dope. Among Us, obviously, a very huge video game right now. All the top creators are playing it, and it's something that's very in the young generation for sure. And the fact that you're creating a play for it is pretty sick. I'd be excited to see a recording of that once it's done, but I love that. Keep up the good work. You're amazing. All right. Elbow cough, elbow cough, elbow cough. I'm glad you had that second account, Andrew. Cool. Question. What's your favorite feature of Stream Deck? So Stream Deck, for those of you who don't know, is this device here, which I don't know if I'll be able to show you. Actually, I can show you maybe the edge of it. It's this right here. It has a whole bunch of buttons on it. It's kind of hard to see. But it has 32 buttons. There's also, I believe, a 15-button array and a 8-button array. So that's like the mini. I have the XL because I have a lot of buttons. My favorite feature is just its ability to integrate with certain tools like Ecamm, like Streamlabs OBS, which I stream with on the PC, to just easily select to different scenes, to different features of the streaming platform. Like, for example, I can just press a button here and like it just blows my mind every time, right? This is me on day 300. Where is that? Oh, it's gone. I lost the, there we go. There's that. I think I removed the other GIFs that I once had. But yeah, it's pretty sweet. Just click a button. You can put animated GIFs in there and other things, which is pretty cool. But yeah, Stream Decks are awesome. There is also, as Chris is saying, a mobile app version where you can actually just have your phone ready with a bunch of buttons, touch buttons, and you can go there. Oh, man. I think I pulled a back muscle this morning. Ugh. Because it is very tight back there. Pokey Adam, what's up, Pokey Adam? Good to see you here, my friend. Thanks for coming in. At Reef with another super chat. You have done many amazing website reviews that have been all amazing. Looking at your website, I see a masterpiece and would love for you to do a breakdown on it and tell us your thinking. Yeah, maybe we can do that tomorrow. That's a really good thought. I'm just noticing your avatar, by the way. I really like that. Did you design that yourself? I think that you do design stuff. That's pretty dope. Thank you for that. Yeah, why don't we go through our website tomorrow, Smart Passive Income, and also Pat Flynn, and I could share some thoughts and share with you sort of what we're attempting to do. The website has definitely changed over the years. Before, it was just kind of just a more of a personality-based website with blog posts as an archive, and now it's become this sort of, it's definitely more professional looking, but we have a lot more options and things to share, and there's a lot of ways to go and find your way through it. The search component is really fancy, as well as certain ways that we're taking advantage of things for SEO. I'd be more than happy to do that. Maybe we can do that tomorrow. Thank you. Love that idea at Reef. Cool. Thank you. CV says, how do I sell but still help people for free? Listen to your podcast about this, but wanted to hear a summary if possible. My favorite way to do this is to figure out, number one, what is it the biggest pain and problem is of your target audience? Number two, share for free how to solve that pain, right? So let's say for example, the pain is, helping people with figuring out what videos they should create next, right? So I'm going to either create a video or even a webinar or something where people can show up and see exactly the method of how to do this for free. But then at the end of the video, I might say, hey, by the way, so this is a lot of steps. If you'd like to get this done in 30 seconds, here's a tool that can help you. It's called TubeBuddy or vidIQ or whatever. Both of those tools are great, by the way. And here's my affiliate link for it. So you can get paid if people go through your affiliate link, and then you can show them how to use that tool and how to do all the things that you taught them how to do for free for, yes, a price, but they'll be able to save loads of time. This is what I like to call the free way to do something versus the headache-free way to do something. When you share that juxtaposition or comparison CV, things go a very, very long way. Another thing you can do is go, hey, here it is. I just showed you exactly how to do this for free. Now, if you'd like me to do this for you, and I'll give you a report every single week of all the things that you should be creating videos about, I would love to do that for you. This is a brand new service that I'm offering for $250 a month. I'll give you a weekly report of what I feel that the videos that you should be publishing, what the title should be, some advice for what the hook should be about, and then you can go from there. How valuable would that be? Do you see how I just took a thing that I gave you for free, showing you how to do it on your own? But people will still want help. The way I know this, I have the #1 how to start a podcast video on YouTube with 1.3 million views at this point, I think. Yet I still have thousands of members in my Power Up Podcasting program, people who have watched that video but want more direct help, want more structure, want accountability, want support. Hopefully that helps. How do you edit your videos so easy possible, says the Social Talk? Well, #1, the easy way that I approach video editing is like this. I hit record on my camera, whether it's my phone or my DSLR or what have you, and I just go. And I've already scripted out ahead of time the way I want it to go. I don't script the exact words. I script the points, the stories I want to tell, etc. And I'll just keep trying to get that part of it, that one bullet point, right. And it's recording the whole time, mistakes and all. And every time I make a mistake, I either click or do a clap. So that way in the waveform, I can see if I see a whole bunch of giant waveforms in the audio file, then I know that those were a bunch of mistakes. I just go to the last take, remove out all the bad ones, squish everything together, boom, editing 101. And then at the end, you'll have this nice jump cut type video that's very engaging, that goes from point to point to point to point. People don't have to see the mess ups. They just see the good parts. And that's how you can create a nice little editing sequence there. Pat, do you have a specific nutrition and exercise program that helps you have the energy to do all you do? I only have sugar on Saturdays. I work out 3 times a week with a trainer who holds me accountable. He is from Cincinnati, and we FaceTime each other 3 days a week in my garage. And I also row the other days. And I row 2,000 meters. It's not a lot. It's maybe 8 minutes worth, but it still gets me moving. And nutrition-wise, I also do intermittent fasting. So I haven't eaten yet today, but I have had my coffee. But I do eat within an 8-hour window between noon and 8 p.m., and that intermittent fasting allows me, especially in the morning here when I need to be most focused for my team and also for you, I have the highest level of energy and the highest level of sort of focus because I'm in that sort of ketosis stage. Now, I'm not really in ketosis, but it's that stage where, like, if you imagine like old days, caveman days, where it's like, when you are a little bit hungry, you're a little bit more focused. Your body becomes focused because you need to go out there and go hunt food. So that's just how I think about it. And of course, there's a mix of paleo in there, but not completely. So it's not really paleo, but it's more of it's a mix between a lot of things that I've discovered over time that works best for me. And that's the thing about diet. It's like what works for you might not work for somebody else. So you kind of have to test and experiment, right? And Lufar says, do you know how Magic Mastering works in Buzzsprout? Yeah, so Magic Mastering in Buzzsprout is you upload your audio file, and if you allow for magic mastering to happen, it will master your file for you. And what that means is it takes the levels that are high and it brings them to the normal level where they should be. It takes the levels that are low, brings them back up, and now everything's exactly where it needs to be, which is such an amazing and very smart move on their end, because a lot of podcasters don't want to use third-party tools to do that, or don't have the editing know-how to normalize their episodes. Now, if you are extracting from GarageBand, likely your episodes will be normalized automatically because it kind of does it by default. However, it is still worthwhile to check it out, and the magic mastering is an amazing tool. I would use the price plan that works for you. It's going to depend on how many episodes or how much time worth of episodes you have that comes out. And that was for Nilufar there. Biba says, question, hey, what do you think about this microphone? Trust GX242. Lance, is it a good microphone for a voiceover? I don't know. I haven't checked out that microphone. What I would recommend, however, is to check out Podcast Age. Podcast Age. He is a YouTuber here who reviews all kinds of microphones. Chances are he's reviewed that one. He does these really, really good reviews about specifically he goes into all different tests, including playing a guitar to voicing to different areas around the microphone. Like, I highly recommend you check him out. Elton, what's up? Started earlier. Too bad. Yeah, no worries. It's I had to change it. I know I said 11 a.m. yesterday, but that wasn't able to happen because we have a workshop happening later that I totally forgot about. But Elton loves this, by the way. And earlier I had accidentally clicked the slap button while clicking yay, and I slapped a whole bunch of kids. Okay. He's the microphone guy for sure. Yeah, he's amazing. Question, which tools are you using on your Twitch stream? On the Twitch stream, I'm using Streamlabs OBS. I'm not using Ecamm because on Twitch, I'm on my PC, and Ecamm Live is only a Mac tool right now, and probably for the foreseeable future. But Streamlabs OBS, or Slobs for short, is what I use, and I also use Stream Deck to have an array of buttons that I could use to flip between scenes. Does that sound come through? Oh, it does. Haha, cool. I think I'm here. Am I here? I just totally screwed with it. My bad. Question, do you have any tips on editing in Premiere Pro? I'm trying to use it more often than my previous editor. Yeah, go to YouTube and look for tips. Shortcuts, quick tips. Use shortcuts, by the way. But I don't know how to edit on Premiere Pro. I edit on Final Cut Pro, but Premiere Pro is what my editor uses, and I know he uses it and loves it. So YouTube is a wealth of information. I would just look up more information on YouTube. All right, T Booker says, if you had a chance to do it over again, would you have done your original thing as a side gig along your real paying job, or would you have done just full-time gig with more intention? So honestly, if I didn't get laid off, let me start there. If I didn't get laid off, I would not be an entrepreneur, because I was so dedicated to the world of entrepreneurship, right? I was somebody who wasn't even really looking to try to do another thing on the side, because I was fully dedicated to my world in architecture. But I'm very grateful that I got laid off, because it opened my eyes up to these other possibilities. Now, if I was working my 9 to 5, or it was actually more like 8 to 6, to be honest, but if I then had the entrepreneurial itch at some point, it would probably have happened on the side. I would probably be too scared, honestly, to let go or to try to go all in on it, because I have this secure job that I really, really was interested in, right? And so yeah, it would be very difficult for me to do. Would you have just done full-time side gig with more intention? I don't know how I would have been. I think I would have been too afraid to try it on my own if I had the safety net of another job, to be honest. So I think that there would have had to been some really big pressure coming from somewhere in order for me to have the courage to do this. And I'm, again, very grateful that I got let go because, you know, that wasn't an option to even go back. That's just very interesting to think about, actually. Somebody hooked us up with an amazing super chat. That is How We Got Here podcast. Everybody go and check out the How We Got Here podcast. We've reviewed his stuff before, and hopefully you've made those changes on your website and the YouTube channel like we talked about, because I remember you and having some really good starts. So thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you for that. That's very amazing. Do I still have an interest in architecture, Pat Flynn? I have an interest in it. I have no interest in going back into that space. When I think about how hard I worked and how little I got recognized, especially as an Enneagram 3, which is like, that's what lights me up, is getting recognition and having other people know that I've been able to help them. Very little paid. Architecture, many people think, is a very well-paying job. It is not. And it does take up a lot of time, right? And you are at the will of your clients. So I'm interested in buildings. I'm interested in history. I'm interested in the way things are formed to allow for people to use them, which is interesting because I feel like a lot of my architecture career has come into the business world in different ways, from the art to the way things are used. Yeah, it's an interesting question, for sure. Question: if you were an artist, fine arts, how will you make money? What will be the best way to start blogging, affiliate marketing, and make good money as an artist? So I actually just interviewed an artist for the income stream. Her name is Layla, and she will be published, I think, next week. I'm not exactly sure. Anyway, that interview is going to be really great. It's actually a coaching episode because she had some interesting questions about the same thing. There's also episode 96 of the Smart Passive Income podcast, smartpassiveincome.com/session96. That'll be an interview with Corey Huff, a person who helps artists make money online. And I think it's a combination between building your personal brand as an artist, your style, whether it's more secretive like Banksy, or somebody who's more upfront who can build fans, and then having people get in on your process, see you behind the scenes, learning how you do what you do. The bigger that you can build this fandom, this following, the more likely it is that your pieces are going to sell. People are going to be more interested in it. And I think that it's a combination of just traditional selling of art online, perhaps through a Shopify store or even more online type galleries, and building a fandom, building true fans, a following by helping them realize that they are being seen, that they are being heard. And in this podcast episode I did with this person, they have people who buy multiple pieces, right? And those are people that she's developed relationships with in person. Now that we're online, she's discovering how we can use tools like Instagram to create direct connections with people, to get them to feel like they're a part of the process, to get them to feel inspired by her work as it's being created, before it's being created. Because when you let people in backstage, or when you bring people on the other side of the velvet rope every once in a while, they feel more connected to the brand and they're more likely to spend money with you. Great question. Enneagram speak. I'm a 4 with a 3 wing. Cool. David says, can you recommend a host platform for a podcast which I can get sponsors but outside of US? I can't link my banking account because of limitations. There is one with PayPal. Regards from Panama. So the host is irrelevant. The host is the place that houses your MP3 files. So house them wherever. I would choose Buzzsprout or Libsyn if I were you. And then when it comes to getting sponsors, that's a deal that you create with them outside of the hosting platform, right? So you strike up a contract with them, you make a deal, you figure out a way to get paid. It could be sending them a check. They might send you a check. They might send you a PayPal or whatever. It's not going to be through traditional means, most likely. So I think that it's going to be on a case-to-case basis with these companies that want to get in front of your audience. The most important thing right now, though, is to just get your podcast up, start learning about who it is that you want to serve, and start building that crowd, that audience who can begin to know, like, and trust you, because that's when you start to get those people to share it with other people like them. Your podcast can continue to grow, and you can then begin to attract podcast advertisers and sponsors who will want to get in front of that audience too. Boom. Pat Flynn, you are humble, sir. You put 110% into everything. You'd be president of your architecture firm by now and making major futuristic structures by now had you stayed the course. I think if I were to still remain in architecture, I would probably start moving away from the restaurants and the retail stuff that I was doing, especially if there was a pandemic like right now. I'm sure architecture is getting hit right now hard like it was in 2008. But I would probably combine my love of technology with architecture in a way where I would probably want to, like, my goal would probably be to design the moon base or the bases that Elon Musk will be putting on to Mars. I would love to work with engineers and work to design something like that, which would be pretty amazing. The future of transportation, maybe the hubs where Elon Musk's Boring Company and Tesla sort of all meet. I think that'd be really cool. That wasn't a question, but that was fun. Reflexia says, my wife almost broke up with me when we were dating because she read something saying our Enneagram numbers didn't mesh well. Oh my gosh. Thank you for all the content that you share. Really appreciate it. Question, what's a good rate or what should be starting rate for people looking to advertise on your podcast? So typically you can get anywhere between $15 and $50 CPM, or cost per milli, or cost per 1,000 downloads. So for every 1,000 downloads, let's just say $25 to start. And you can go up and down from there depending on the strength and the quality of your show and the audience that comes with it, as well as the other assets that you might have. For example, your website, your email list, social channels. You can begin to tack on more dollars the more things that you can offer within these packages. But when you consider the number of downloads that your podcast has after 6 weeks, you can kind of start to do the math. So how many downloads does every individual episode have after 6 weeks? And start to put those together and add them all up. And then after a month, how much money would a potential podcast sponsor, advertiser, pay you based on that? So if you have 10,000 downloads per month across all of your podcasts, you might be able to command, $200 per month to have been mentioned within your podcast. Now, there's different levels of this because you might just have people come on specifically for the pre-roll and that's it. Maybe they get pre-roll, mid-roll, and post-roll, in which case you could charge a little bit more. So you can kind of base it off of that. If somebody was looking for the art podcast that I did with Corey Huff, that's episode 96. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Nope, not going to sneeze. I hate, that's such a letdown. Such a letdown. All right, Ariel says, does it work against us to send unlisted YouTube videos to list community? I notice it seems to slow things, exposure numbers, or maybe I'm wrong. I mean, the truth is it does slow numbers because if it's unlisted, YouTube is not going to help you. You have to do all the work yourself. So YouTube, if it's a public video, will share impressions to people who they think might want to watch your video. Then if people do click on it, because of the thumbnail and title, they're going to send it to more people, and especially if you can get people to hold on and watch more of that video, right? Lex says, God bless. Cancel. Indeed. Okay, that was question 30. Let's go for one more. What do you do to set your lead magnets apart from the same thing everyone else is giving away? How do you go about making your freebie unique? Great question, Dyburn. The best thing is to just consider what would be the most helpful for your audience right now and just start there. It doesn't need to be designed differently. It doesn't need to be sort of this revolutionary thing. Just what is helpful to your audience right now after where they're at and what they've gone through in your business. So for me, if I was to consider what the best lead magnet could be, I would create a podcast episode about something, and then I'd create a lead magnet about that something so that people can just get right in. And they'll just know it's exactly for them. The best lead magnet is the one that people are like, I've been looking for this for so long, right? So that's kind of how I would approach it. Okay. Don says, can you elaborate why you like Bluehost? Yeah, Bluehost is not the best. There's a lot of things that are not so great about it, but for the price, as well as the fact that people who go through my link often get special treatment from their customer service, which is often the problem. It is shared hosting, and you get what you pay for with shared hosting, but we, are looking for potential other things to recommend to help add more options for people. But I like Bluehost because I've been with them, and they do care. They're just a giant company, and they're very slow moving at things. But people who need help who go through me do get the help much quicker than if they were to just do this on their own. So we have a relationship with them, and it's not about the commission. I can make way more commission sharing other things. I just have a lot more experience helping serve my audience through Bluehost. And as much as people do complain about it, there's thousands of more people who have had nothing but great things to say about it, but we never hear that, right? It's a good place to start out, but as Kathy here says, as your website grows, it can slow down, and it's a great starting point because my job is to help reduce the friction for you as much as possible, and especially the cost friction. So anyway, thank you so much for the questions, everybody. I appreciate you. I got to get on another call very soon, so we're going to end the show here today, and tomorrow we are not starting at 9 because I have a mastermind call. Let me see when it is in fact going to start. We are going to start tomorrow's live stream at 9:30 a.m. Actually, let's make it a nice even 10. How about that? 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. There we go. So thank you so much for the super chats, everybody. At Reef, I appreciate you. You're amazing. Where Are We Now podcast. Bill, thank you for the super chats. Super helpful. I appreciate you, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Team Flynn for the win. 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Cheers. Team Flynn for the win.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream. All while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
All right, great day, great questions, great conversations, great stories. We had a few laughs. I got the secret word in. Still owe you a game on Friday, though, which is a shame. Anyway, it'll be fun. Take care, everybody. Thanks so much. Please subscribe, hit that like button before you go, and peace out.
Bruh.